All right, thanks again for joining us today. My name is Ron Hyde. I work at Graphically Speaking as an e-commerce account director. I work a lot with clients in the B2B side as well as B2C, and obviously AI has been something that has been present in our lives as well as within yours, I'm assuming. And so today we're going to try to answer a few questions about how it's impacting e-commerce teams, where we see activity in utilizing AI in individual team roles. And I mean, generally speaking, everyone asks me, hey, is AI going to replace my job? I don't know. I mean, I don't have the crystal ball, and it's changing by the hour. What I do know, and this is from our anecdotal experience, is that certainly hasn't yet. It is augmenting people's roles. It is assisting them as a tool would, any tool, to do their job more efficiently. Interestingly enough, Stats Canada put out a paper, I think January this year, where they were looking at if artificial intelligence has effectively changed the employment status or the employment rates as of yet. And again, it just came out, I think, in January, so time has lapsed and there's more stats, and it depends on the specific roles. But what they found was that ultimately not yet. And there hasn't really been a major shift in the employment because of AI that they can monitor. Everyone will find a different report, will say something perhaps different. But what they did find was that in the technical roles, so junior programmers, UX, back-end people, they found that those that were less educated and under 30, that those positions haven't been as effective, or they haven't been in quantity, haven't been as many as those in above 30. So what they don't account for is the economy. And so when we talk about Canadian economy, that obviously has an impact on hiring. So where, smaller, lower level types of work is being done, and often by AI, this is where there is a concern. So this is what they have seen, and whether it holds true for tomorrow, we don't know. So today we're going to address basically a few components about how AI is being utilized in e-commerce teams, and why it matters, right? So for today's agenda, AI matters now for e-commerce teams, the roles, some of the workflows, where we see AI being currently utilized in e-commerce, with the biggest impact. We're going to look at some tools and examples, basically, that are available by platform, and we're going to be looking at 4 platforms today. And I'm going to give you a little bit of insight as to how you could start a strategic approach to adopting AI tactics or strategies or tool sets within your organization. So the 4 platforms we're going to briefly discuss today is Shopify, Adobe Commerce, Magento, and WooCommerce. Graphically Speaking is partnership with these organizations and have developed numerous websites, e-commerce, B2B, B2C. And yep, the daily conversation regarding AI is very active, and it crosses all platforms, CMS tool sets, people that we're dealing with directly on project management, all the way through to programming, the database or catalog individuals, right? So this matters really now for these areas, because there are existing tool sets that will really make your life quicker. And I'm speaking to a crowd that I'm assuming has already been working with AI, at least played with it, or is very, effectively using it in their day-to-day tasks. So the range of people here today is quite broad. But it is here today. It is within the tool sets of the platforms I mentioned. So it's present. You have to look at it. If you haven't already, you have to look at it through the lens of your work, your organization's goals and strategies. Because customers are expecting it. Customers are using it. Our customers are using AI when they come to us to work with them on a project. So your customers are going to expect your use of it. They're going to want to see some efficiencies in how you handle correspondence, for example, how you handle workflow, shipping fulfillments. inventory management, even competitive pricing is something that they have a level of expectancy for. So it is here. You are being tasked to utilize it for your organization. So the question isn't should we do it, it's just how do we prepare for it? How do we embed it? How do we augment our work towards it? So the way it's changing e-commerce teams today, generally the shift is from a manual reactive work, then using AI to assist you to do proactive work. So I'm sure many of you have examples of where you know how to do, for example, a product database cleanup. And so you're looking at a product database. Perhaps you have configurable products that have a primary master product with simple products. And you've spent time, in Excel, utilizing some tool sets perhaps to help you make that work more efficient. Might take you a few hours, few days, few weeks, depending on how extensive your databases are, which you're now utilizing AI for, and you're getting this work done in minutes. Small programming scripts, some HTML, scripting that you can grab real quick and just copy and paste it. So there's, tool sets that we're currently adopting for these types of areas. Some of the most common patterns that we're seeing AI being used, and we're using ourselves, is in that repetitive task that you've got. Cleaning up data, writing content for products, writing blog pieces. You're getting AI to assist. And now I'm going to say just one cautionary tale if you don't know already, but I'm just going to say it because I've experienced way too much of this over the last few years. And AI is not the dream-all that it can be when it comes to anything. It really requires you, with your skill sets and experience, to verify it. Don't believe it in faith. I'm preaching to the choir. I'm sure of that. But if you're doing product data management, you're familiar with product data management, you understand the hours it takes to go and clean it up, then when you go through AI and it gives it to you in a few seconds, check it, because it makes mistakes constantly. But because of this efficiency, we're able to make decisions quicker, and we're able to get information to our, for our purposes faster, whether it's, analytics, traffic analytics, whether it's past sales activity reporting, or it's simply, creating products, categories, perhaps customer segments. In this case, we're getting this material and this information to us faster. So that theoretically should allow us to make decisions quicker. And if decisions can be made quicker, we can adjust and move and maneuver to our marketplace more effectively. Right? So the idea with this is that if your day-to-day tasks are becoming more efficient, you can make faster decisions, then you could take that time and spend that time on being more creative. Many e-commerce administrators that I speak with, they spend their entire day fixing the site, fixing the content, making adjustments, adding inventory management from warehouses that may be out of whack, and they're basically playing catch up, reactive work. Now with AI tool sets, a proper CMS tool that they can utilize the AI with allows them and frees them up with some time to be more strategic, proactively thinking about their campaigns in the fall when it's still spring, as opposed to scrambling at the last minute. So the idea is the time savings should be utilized towards the areas of creativity, the areas of new innovation, and areas of the organization that typically you just can't give to AI. It still requires that human interpretation. So the topics we're going to cover real quick, which AI has impacted e-commerce teams, are these 6. So content creation, generally speaking, it generates and optimized product content, right? You can throw a database of products with some very basic information to it and have AI come up with the appropriate long description, short description, keyword rich, H1 tags for SEO. It can give you all of that. It can create product imagery or change product images. You can adjust on bulk a group of images to match your branding, match the size of the image placement within your templates, so it can speed that up. It can do translation really quick. Again, check the translations, but it can do that quite quickly. It can create a FAQs. It can look at your activity that you've spent in customer service answering people's emails. It can amalgamate everything and come up with your top 10 FAQs. Put that on the homepage. This is going to be valuable. For customer service, obviously we've seen AI with chatbots. assisted sales activities. These are the areas that, most of platforms that we'll be chatting about today really have spent energy in trying to do well. Now, we still see chatbots that are really kind of, taking you down the trail, and sometimes done incorrectly. They spend more time, wasting your customers' time going down rabbit holes of questions without being able to answer. And it become very frustrating. So be careful about that. Customer service also can include, shipping and fulfillment, order statuses, so the communication aspects of customer service. It can summarize and add more material to the customer service communications. Not only where is this order, but it's like we're working on this order, here's what we're dealing with, etc., and personalize or familiarize that workflow with your customer. On the personalization, point 3, so this is where AI can become very effective for those people, when I mentioned those people who have now freed up a bit of time so they can be strategic, looking at AI and how it can personalize the user experience. So personalization, in my opinion, we have come from, massive customer group segmentation, personalization. We got 10,000 customers or 1,000 customers. We're going to segment them into 3 camps. And then we're going to give Camp A this material at this time, Camp B, Camp C. We're narrowing down that ability to personalize down to an individual level. And that personalization can not only take on, what they click on, but their past history, their persona development as far as who they are, materials that they have read and listened to, watched on your site. And it could really offer up some personalized landing pages, for example, or personalized merchandising tactics, products specific to that one individual. So we're really getting better at personalization and segmentation for that. For search and discovery, probably the first adopted AI tool set would be in search. That's been the golden goose of getting an accurate search. Search is still the first or second most utilized utility or tool on a website. It's also still one of the most disappointing tools if it's done incorrectly, right? So the AI tool sets that are out there right now have always focused on search, and they're getting better at it. So we're really looking at having AI take over on search and discovery. And we want to, utilize semantic and agentic search types so that we can give people not only what they've asked for specifically on a factual basis. I would like, leather sandals. We're talking about, why would you like leather sandals? I'm going to the beach. I spend a lot of time walking around in the sun. I live in this part of the world. Okay, there's other elements of that inquiry that AI searches can provide details to you, which you in turn can provide as an offering to your customers. Marketing, generating emails, the whole aspect of disseminating information across your social channels, your email marketing and remarketing activities. Again, with that segmentation ability, you can really pinpoint your marketing activities very specifically and in real time. Everything that I mentioned, by the way, can be pretty much handled in real time. So these are things that would usually take, analysis of how did that last campaign go? How many sales do we have? Let's do the last quarter, etc. Let's build a strategy. It takes a few weeks. Let's perform it. Oh, that takes another month or 2. Okay, we get that out the door. A lot of these things, again, speed and time savings can make those decisions real quick and almost in real time. So marketing operations, predictive analysis with marketing, what is the customer thinking about? What can we think that he's thinking about after? What's next? What's in his mindset or their mindset? Operations and analytics. So I've mentioned a little bit about looking at past sales orders. You're looking at your analytics in traffic and seeing what people are doing. And it can analyze that information really quick. It can create summary reports that you can automatically have texted to you every morning or emailed to you if you're a manager and you just want to see what your eastern regions are selling, why are they selling, what they're selling at this time, etc. And you can, get down that path. Also for forecasting inventory. Nowadays, when we're dealing with drop shipments and offsite warehousing, multi-warehousing, or pickup in store scenarios of omnichannels, The inventory management is critical. That could be one of the primary reasons someone buys from you or doesn't, because if you have it in stock or can get it within 24 hours, and you know that you can do that because your AI is working overtime to get that information to you, that decision may impact a sale. Inventory availability has always impacted sales. So operations and analytics. At Sidekick, it's one of the primary functions of their AI toolsets is to do with generative AI shopping searches. So with people searching on a particular type of product, they're utilizing the AI Sidekick for full-on search results. And it gives the user some really good answers. But from you as a person working in a Shopify environment, it allows you to do your product description. It's really content-heavy AI activities. So you can throw it in your database. It can come up with your descriptions. It can give you great taglines for your marketing, your landing pages. It takes in consideration some SEO activities if you make sure that you've got that within the prompts. It can even help you in merchandising and creating discounts or programs for future strategies. It also can do the analyzing of the data once it's out. So once you're submitting some of these pieces of content, whether it's product pages, whether it's marketing pieces, it can analyze the data and how it's performing. So that's really good in the Sidekick project with Shopify. And it's, like I mentioned, it's really focusing on content itself. It has chat features as well and sales assisting features, but their particular focus has been on content generation, content development, and improvement. Adobe Commerce, we consider their layer of implementation to be first-party native. So it's embedded within Adobe Commerce. It is quite advanced. It utilizes some very deep, and I don't know if you guys remember, but Adobe has been working with AI technologies in their platform for quite some time, and they've changed how they apply it, but it's really heavily embedded. It's trying to get beyond your typical usages of AI. It's fully using semantic and agentic search tools within its platform, so it's heavily layered within it. It's complex at times to use or how to configure it specifically for yourself. But it is quite powerful to use if you're on the Adobe Commerce platform. Next, we'll talk quickly about Magento. Now, Magento, the wonderful thing about Magento, if you're familiar with it, is its customization ability. So that customization is still the same with this AI tool sets. We're actually building out certain AI functions in the Magento platform for some of our clients. So we're able to really adjust, tailor it, personalize it to our customers' required experiences. Otherwise, Magento relies heavily on their extension library. There's a lot of AI tool sets coming out in the extension libraries that you can purchase and add to your Magento program. Again, it's for content generations like Shopify. It also helps with chat and customer sales support, does search and product discovery. It does a pretty good, depending which extensions and how you're working it, does a pretty good job of catalog or product enhancements. But the most important thing about the Magento approach to AI is its customized ability, and that really can be very powerful for you. And then finally, WooCommerce. So, WooCommerce is basically relying on a plugin layer. WooCommerce is currently working on AI within their own framework and their core. I haven't seen a lot of maturity in that yet, but what they're doing, what's kind of unique about them is their framework is really available to adopt the plugins utilizing AI. So taking a proper UI, like Store Agent's a very popular one. It works with chatbots, Sales Assist, and it does also product content improvements similar to Sidekick with Shopify. But the WooCommerce platform, the core architecture is allowing those AI AI extensions and plugins to be able to be adopted efficiently. So we're seeing some good strengths in the WooCommerce WordPress platforms, and we're seeing every day new AI plugins. So quickly to the roles. So where roles and business workflows are evolving, what we're seeing is in these 5 areas. So merchandising, product managers, I've mentioned a few things like, merchandising, but if you're a product manager or a catalog manager for your organization, and you're looking to see how you can utilize AI, you can do a ranking and sorting of your products. You can base it on real life external experiences that are happening in the world. What's impacting the sale of your products other than what you can control? Your price point, your availability, how well you provide trust on your site to your customers, etc. But it can help take external pressures. We've got more complex situations that they may encounter. So let the chatbots and the sales assist tools help the general, inquiries and elevate those team members to go do more complex things that the AI chat systems can't do. We mentioned operations, again, assisting with like bulk data, forecasting, inventory management, just reducing that whole manual work that usually takes hours to come up with and to present and whatever. So operations, you can find efficiencies. That's often actually where we assist our clients, is not only do they want to increase their sales offering, maybe their conversion rate optimization needs to work, but ultimately they're also looking for cost savings. So when we look at cost savings with e-commerce, we look for efficiencies in workflow in the operations. How does, a concept of a product go through its process of R&D or purchasing if you're a distributor? How does it get portrayed on the site? How fast can we do it? How effective can we get it to market so that we can start making sales for it? Those things are increasing in speed. And from a developer's technical leads, I mentioned it earlier at the beginning, is, for basic scripts, low-level programming aspects, most of the CMS tools already have that built in. You want to form a contact us form with a few drop-downs. That can be built right in the CMS tool. You don't need to have someone program that for you that's customized. You don't necessarily need to buy an extension or a plugin. You can just build it straight into the CMS, and you don't need a technical background to do that. So that's where it's helping. On the developers themselves, they're utilizing it to make it, again, their more complex jobs more efficient. So the jobs aren't disappearing. They're being elevated. And like most tools from the internet, if you're old enough, like me, to recognize how we've adopted new advanced tools that people were afraid of was going to take away their job, and in some cases it has, so I'm not going to, discount that at all. But it really is another tool set to help improve the efficiency of your work so that you can go on doing more advanced things. It's shifting the work. Where does AI create the biggest business impact? So this is from our personal experience, where we have seen benefits to organizations that we are working with, and how has it improved their offering or their operations. So the biggest impacts are, again, in customer experience, getting some information, the right information, to the right people at the right time. And that could not only just be a search result, but that could be the recommendations, your merchandising. It used to be the analogy of, if someone's buying a remote control car and you are merchandising a related product, could be batteries, right? Nowadays, you can utilize that AI. It's not only batteries, it's different types of batteries. And this one has a different length. Where are you going to use that remote control car? Oh, I see that you're, working or living in this part of the world. You attend races. Here's a blog that goes for it. So all of the material wrapped around the mindset of that individual for the customer experience. That will help. The marketing productivity, right? We're looking at content, not only development, but really specific segmentation. And then with operations efficiency, I think I've spoken to that quite a bit. Just a snapshot on the platforms themselves, right? So Shopify's got native AI, and it's got a really healthy, growing app ecosystem. Magento open source, primary component there is its customization ability. Very unique situations require unique and customized solutions. Adobe Commerce, it's an enterprise level. It is extensive. It is very powerful. It's also quite complex, but it can be really, really, really powerful for organizations that are, global, or just really extensive in their offering within the supply chain. And then WooCommerce, they're growing internally on their core architecture. The WordPress plugin community is growing, and they seem to work really well, nice together, right? So need to focus your AI where it reduces friction, saves time, or improves the customer experience. These are the primary, at first, early adoption areas. So the last thing that I really want to focus on is some ideas of how you can get going, how you can start adopting certain AI tactics, tool sets, and strategies within your organization if you haven't done so already. I'm always going to caution you, start off small, see what happens. You've all played around with AI and you've all found some, funny or disappointing results, and you've adjusted the way you've worked your prompting. And so the same rules apply, right? You start with a certain task that is currently being done. Remember, I mentioned earlier, you're trying to get rid of the manual reactive work and work into proactive, the creative work that saves the time. So start with an existing role that is currently being conducted in your organization. Data entry, content development for product pages, inventory management, whatever is taking, or reconciliation, sales orders to transactions. These types of mundane, lengthy tasks, start with one. This is not going to be, something so pivotal that it turns your industry on its head. Start off with something small, with an understanding that you're going to take that activity and you're going to augment it into something a little more efficient, right? Get the team who are involved with it in, right, to the beginning of that discussions. Where's the pain points? And it could be pain points within your own organization, or with your customers. If there's a constant pain point that your customer service team or salespeople are mentioning, these guys are saying this all the time, look at one of those things as a pilot project start, where you can start utilizing AI, right? Scale, like anything, any adoption tactic, it's scalability. So start off with a smaller pain point, a smaller repetitive task as a pilot. And if you're like me, when the first time you try to do something with AI, you may end up spending more time prompting the darn thing to do what you want it to do, because you know what the outcome should be, than it took for you to do it yourself, right? And that's not uncommon, so don't feel too bad about it. But notice if it's something that you can do the second time a little more efficiently, and eventually, hopefully not too long, it is more efficient than manually doing it, and it'll just increase in its efficiencies thereafter, right? But start with one. Work through it, start to finish, analyze how well it worked, what time savings did it give you or didn't give you, what savings in your merchandising strategies did it provide for you, is there a benefit that it provided to you that you didn't recognize before, and now it's producing it for you, so you start adopting that additional benefit to your strategies, right? Then with some opportunities that are like right off the bat, the things that I look for is that I can help with our customers is getting content information. Databases and product databases in e-commerce are always worse. They're always the hardest things to get through, because they're just tedious. So this is an area that can go through. Smart search, again, lots of tools that can help with that. Chat support, you probably know all about those. Marketing content, we mentioned several times. Personalization can get really deep, so limit your pilot project to a more simple personalization aspect if that's the case you're going after, right? So there's the steps. Identify one repetitive task, map it manually versus what it could do for you, what you hope it could be doing with AI assistance. Run a small pilot, evaluate it, how did it work out, talk to your team, start working on further adoption. So I see that I'm running completely out of time here, so I do appreciate the opportunity. These are key takeaways. This is pretty much a summary of what I've gone through. I hope it was helpful to the vast differences of the people who are attending today. I know a lot of you are very effective in utilizing your AI, but can it help you with your role? Absolutely. Will it replace you? I don't know, but the best way to have it not replace you is to adopt it so it elevates your status, your abilities to perform in your organization, regardless of where they are, and just keep innovating, keep playing at it. It's not the end all and be all yet, and who knows what the webinar next year will be about, but at least this will hopefully get you point it in the right direction. And we're available for any questions at any point. Reach out to us. This deck will be placed on our website for those who missed it or would like to see it again. I appreciate your time today. Enjoy the rest of your summer. I look forward to speaking with you at another time. Thank you.